Welcome to Clayton News Network. I'm Owen Weiss, and we're joined here today by Miss Toni Siering of Clayton Parks and Recreation. How's it going?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm great. So, a few weeks ago, I spoke with Mayor McAndrew, and she mentioned the possibility of plans for temporary ice this winter. Where do you stand on that, and what are the plans, if any, for ice this winter?
I have not heard that of that. I'm not aware of any plans to have temporary ice this winter. If someone were to tell me that we could do that, that we had the budget for that, I would be all for that if like a temporary vendor came in, set it up, manned it, because we don't have anybody right now who would any staff available that would be like rink guards or cashiers, things like that. So I guess it would depend on the circumstance, but it would be something I would be interested in.
Yeah, and I actually, right when you said that, I just got an idea. You could maybe have like high schoolers do it to get credit for like volunteer hours.
Oh yeah, no, that's in the past we often had CHS students that were rink guards and cashiers. So that could be something we could definitely look into.
Another question I had, I know that funding like is and like was an issue. So what
Yes.
are ways that Clayton citizens could pitch in to like help fund this, help it happen?
Yeah, no, so we are in the infancy, so the very beginning stages of the design for what could happen at this site. After we design that and get everything, get some public input, get input from the Parks and Rec Commission, the Board of Aldermen, now called the City Council. We would then turn over the fundraising aspect of that to the Clayton Community Foundation or CCF. They would be spearheading any fundraising efforts once the project is designed to completion.
What would that like look like?
The newly designed project.
Well, like fundraising,
Okay.
if you have any idea of what that would be like.
I have a little bit of an idea. So, really, like I said, we want to get a design of the project so we can get an overall cost. I know that people are looking for the ice rink that was developed or pitched before COVID. This will be something very different from that. It'll be much smaller. It'll be a temporary ice rink. It will not necessarily be a year-round indoor building. So we want to get the cost of what this is going to be, and then once we determine that, the city's paying for the design phase, then CCF will be this will spearhead the fundraising phase. And I'm assuming, not that I know 100%, but I'm assuming they'll be looking for not only individual community donors, but also corporate donors as well, with possibly naming rights for the area.
Right. So the mayor also mentioned that she did tell me that you guys were in like the designing phase. So what is that new facility going to be used for? For
Yeah. It's gonna look a little bit different than what we had proposed in the past. So we're just embarking on this right now, and really we're in the development stage. And what we like to think that it's gonna be a transformative project that'll really obviously transform the site where the former ice rink was at. So we're looking at some ideas that are currently being floated around as like a central gathering space. So obviously the current or what was the former ice rink slab is now currently temporary pickleball courts. That
yeah.
would all go away. We would add new courts, new pickleball courts somewhere in that site. But the main emphasis would be a central gathering space that we could use in the summer and the fall for concerts, for community events, for farmers markets, maybe food truck events. And then in the winter, it would include a temporary ice rink or maybe even an ice ribbon in the winter months. So we could activate that site year round. It could include some of the things we've been talking about are a stage for performances, shade structures so that they're place for people to keep cool in the summer months. We'll have comfort stations, which is what we lovingly refer to as restrooms. And we'll do pickleball courts and then like a overall lawn type area so people can gather for food and beverage. They could bring their own chairs. They could listen to music, or if it is like a farmer's market event, walk around with different tents and things like that.
That's really cool. So in the winter, like what's the likelihood of having special community events, like for example, like Christmas tree lightings or just special days of like winter themed games for kids to
I
like
think
play?
there's yeah, I think that's a really, high probability of things like that, and we don't generally do like a Christmas tree events. We try to stay away from secular or religious events, but
Yeah.
certainly, like you might remember at the old ice rink, we always had skate with Frosty. So that definitely, I think, I we would definitely want to activate that site in the winter to include, yeah, winter events. Maybe, obviously not this year, but maybe in the future we could have things that revolve around the Winter Olympics or other snow day type activities that we could activate that site with hot chocolate, maybe temporary fire pits, things like that as well too, because we really want the site because it is so visible from Brentwood to be activated year round. And one of the things we also talked about is having a gathering space that would also have food and beverage as well too, and that could be year round as well with like patio heaters, things like that.
Yeah, these are really cool ideas that actually are new to me. Um, but what's funny, you mentioned hot chocolate, and
Mm-hmm.
that's been mentioned so many times as one of people's most favorite thing about the old ice skating rink was the hot chocolate.
Yeah, that's
Um,
funny.
as well as like the fire pit and just
Mm-hmm.
other things because I think this, but so do a lot of other people. There aren't really too many things where people can engage as a community together.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why a lot of people really are hoping for something cool to be here.
Yeah, no, and that's really our goal. We want this to be a community space, so it could be multi-use. Like I said, it could be small concerts, or maybe even depending on the size, we might be able to relocate some of the other events that are on the streets of downtown Clayton to this spot. Albeit maybe they look a little bit different, the jazz festival, things like that. But again, things that we could do where people could gather year round. You know, maybe you play tennis or you're playing sand volleyball, you could walk over to the garden area and have some snacks and have some uh, refreshments, things like that. So we are looking at this to be a year-round event, a year-round
Um,
case.
so I feel like normally when we get these things like that are supposed to be for like community building, they end up kind of just like being ignored. So do you think there's a way that we can prevent that from happening?
Yeah, I think honestly, because of I think its location, it is going to be front and center, really at the gateway entrance to our flagship park. Shaw Park is our biggest park in Clayton. It is our crown jewel of our park system. So I think because of its location in Shaw Park and within Shaw Park on Brentwood Boulevard, it will be high profile. So I really truly believe that it will not be forgotten about or it will not go stale.
That's really good to hear. What age groups would this be for?
I think it's gonna be for all ages. I think, depending on the event. Obviously, a jazz festival might draw, a more adult crowd, but we certainly do, we're Parks and Recreation. We specialize in events for families and kids of all ages. So we would certainly be interested in having more family themed events or kid themed events there, depending on what happens with, how the temporary ice is situated. We certainly would intend to have events like Skate with Frosty and things that are more family oriented as well as adult or tween oriented as well. We're looking at all sorts of different programming ideas, and we've been kind of looking around the country just to see what people are doing with spaces like this.
That's really nice because I feel like there's not a lot of stuff for people like me to do in Clayton besides just wander around.
Right, and we want that to be a safe public space for everybody to come and enjoy. Like I said, all different seasons.
Well, that is all the questions I have for you. Do you have any questions for me?
Well, I did want to say that the consulting group that we've been working with, Lamar Johnson Collaborative, will be presenting to the Parks and Rec Commission next Monday evening, December 1st. Um, the meetings are hybrid, so you can join either online or here in person at the Center of Clayton. But they're going to be presenting some of our initial ideas just to get some input from the Parks and Rec Commission and any public that would be there as well if you wanted to check out some of those. Um, first stage designs that we're gonna be sharing.
That would be really cool. I'll watch
Y-
out for that.
Yeah, definitely. I think it'll be our first gauge into the public forum to see if we are hitting the mark and and hitting the target for what people want.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me today.
You're welcome. Thanks so much for
This
having
was
me.
a lot of good new information I got.
Yeah, we're really looking forward to it, and we think it'll be a really cool project to showcase not only Shaw Park but the city of Clayton.
Well, I think I can speak for everyone when I say we're all very excited to see what happens.
That's great news. That's great news. We're looking forward to it.
All right. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Have a great day.
You too. Thank you so much for tuning in to yet another episode of Clayton News Network. We hope to see you soon. And before I let you go, I actually do have to make sure you follow, leave a comment on, again, your thoughts on ice skating, and leave us a 5-star review. Thank you so much and have an amazing rest of your week. Feel free to click off of this. It's going to continue for another 20 seconds. 10 more seconds. I don't know why you're still here. It's literally just this song the whole time. Wow, you actually listened to the end. Good job. You get a gold star. If you comment that you listened to the end, I'll give you a shout out in the next episode. Okay, bye.